I'm just sharing this on Instagram. Ah, dang it. Focus.
And we're live.
Yes, we're live. I'm posing for Chandler Langley's Instagram. Just so we're clear on what I'm doing.
Oh, yeah. Man, I was too busy making sure we were live.
That's okay. You're going to look like you're working, and I'm going to be looking like that or something weird.
No, you know what? Yeah. Even though we're live, hello, everybody. If you can...
What's up?
If you can hear us, talk to us in the comments. We're going to do a quick selfie.
Oh, we're going to do a quick selfie. Okay, another selfie. Here we go.
I can't see you guys, so no, I'll just do it this way.
Okay.
All right. All right. Click. Come on, Durbin, look at me.
Whoa! I'm sorry. I was trying to share this.
All right, cool. We took the selfishes.
We did. We did. I like that. It's a better name than selfie. Selfishes.
It's more appropriate.
Shellfish.
Yeah, selfish.
Yeah.
All right, we are here. We are live. We are watching The Fifth Element. Now, if anybody has been paying attention to my promotion, you will see that the thumbnail is full of characters that are not in this live stream.
You might have to change that out after this live stream.
No. If I change that out, then this first part of the live stream is not going to make sense.
Okay.
But, we had 3 people drop out for just various reasons, life reasons,
life.
But Chandler has jumped on board with us to join us live with Durbin and I. So Durbin, real quick, just tell everybody where you're from, where they can find you, what you do, and all that fun stuff.
Well, I'm Durbin. My channel is called Durbania, and I do a lot of stuff that Steve does, minus the watch parties, although I did do one. But I do movie reviews, ranking videos, but I do this thing called a theological analysis, where I like to find God in movies. And also, if you happen to be watching this, you're a fan of the show The Chosen. It's a show that I'm really digging into right now, building a community around. So would love to have you all come on in and enjoy that conversation. And my history at The Fifth Element is I've seen this movie several times. It is bizarre as all else. And I love it.
It's an amazing movie.
Yes.
Chandler, introduce yourself. Tell people where they can find you, follow you, and what you do.
All right. If you guys don't know who I am Chandler. I do this YouTube channel called Hot Takes for Nerds. Sometimes I take a little bit of a break from YouTube and come back and do videos occasionally. It just depends on the time whenever I have the chance to go ahead and do videos. But I like to talk about movies that are unpopular or are divisive and like to start conversations with people about it. Sometimes I'll make videos that have people go nuts and say, like, are you kidding me? You really do think of that movie that way? And then they would just bash the dislike button really hard. But that's okay. And I encourage that a lot because that's what gets us to talk movies a lot more often. And I feel like it's awesome to see other people seeing the other side of the perspective that's different to my opinion, which is what I want this YouTube channel that I'm creating to be all about. Just talking to each other about what movies are, what we think about movies, even though it's different side of the opinion, and have a respectful conversation about it, even though some people would probably not see it that way. I like to do the best that I can to see if it can be like that.
Yes, very true. Yeah, and it's fine. It's okay if we get into a debate. It's okay if we just, disagree with things. But the point is, as long as we're respectful with each other and we just share our passions and listen to everyone else. That's what we do here. We're here to be friends. Right. So,
exactly.
All right. So without
Chandler, real quick, though, what is your history with this movie?
I've only seen 3/4 of this film, and I don't remember much of it, but I remember Chris Tucker. And
yes, Chris Tucker.
All I'll say. I really enjoyed his performance. Let me just say that.
So we're going to get a fresh reaction from you as we watch this movie.
Yep, going to see a fresh reaction.
All right.
So if anything happens, it's fresh right here.
All right, well, guys, I'm gonna start my little intro here, and we'll be back in.
Lilu Dallas Multipass.
Lila and Multipass. She knows it's Multipass.
Man, that was a great thumbnail of a whole bunch of guys that aren't in this video right now.
It is a great thumbnail, Steve.
No,
I give it to you. That is a great thumbnail.
I love those guys. I'm not throwing shade. I'm just being.
Oh
funny.
yeah.
So all right. So, anything before we start this movie? Do you guys want to say anything about it, or you just want to just roll with it?
Let's roll with it. Are you good with
Okay.
that, Chandler?
I'm good with
Well,
that.
I will say one thing. I'll hint at it. It will make sense later. But I have a little something from the movie right here. But I'll show you when it gets there. It's a little
I
prop for
can't
the
wait.
movie I have. All right. So, in 3, 2, 1, click.
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 There's
I
the
w-
torch. There's the
Yeah,
torch. I see the
I'm
torch.
right there. See, I waited 4 seconds before I pressed it because I was 1 second ahead.
Oh, Steve, you're so.
I
What
now
are you
see
at,
the
Chandler?
torch.
You seeing the
I
lady?
now see the. I've seen the lady right now.
And Columbia. There it is.
Yeah. Well, I'm at
Columbia
16,
just popped
17, 18, 19,
19,
20 seconds
20.
in.
Oh my gosh, we're almost in sync. Like I'm pretty much with Steve and 1 second ahead of Chandler.
I am at 28, 29,
Yeah,
30.
we're good.
We're in
good.
sync. We're
Yay,
in sync.
I love it when that happens.
Awesome.
Filmed by
Not the
Luke
band in sync, just
Besson.
in sync.
All right, let me open up my comments here. Well, hello, Durbin.
What's up?
All right, for anybody joining us and you want to know what movie we are watching The Fifth Element, and we just started. We're at 52, 53, 54, 55 seconds in, and we're at the opening scene. Mila Jovovich.
She's
What-
pretty awesome.
Yeah, she's pretty. Awesome, yeah.
I heard that
What?
she was like over sexualized in this film. Is that true?
You
I
know
can't
what?
Remember
I'll be
much of
curious
this.
for your opinion on that. I mean,
Yeah,
yes
never-
and no.
Yeah, it's not over sexualized is a very interesting way to put that. I've never considered that. Like watching this, that she's being over sexualized. Yes, she kind of is, but it's explained in a very appropriate way for her character. Just the way her character is introduced into this movie, like it makes sense. But yeah, there is some like 90s, side boob, stuff like this. But
That's right. This was the 90s.
98, this movie.
Oh
came
my
out.
gosh. I don't even look at it as that type of movie. It's just one of those classics that's always been around for me. So I don't even equate this to like a 90s action sci-fi movie. It's just, hey, it's The Fifth Element.
Yeah, it actually was in production from like the early 90s, like 91 and stuff like that, but it finally took a while before people, were able to get it produced and everything. But this movie did such a remarkable job for its computer graphics. Like,
Oh yeah.
coming out in 1998, I mean, this is almost flawless. Like, it's so good.
Oh, it really is. I mean, we just saw that ship there pulling up next to the Earth, and I wouldn't look at that and go 90s. I'd look at that and go, oh, it doesn't look too bad at all.
Well, to put it in perspective, what's that movie? The terrible one about Scientology with John Travolta.
Yes, Battlefield Earth. That was terrible.
Oh, that
Battlefield
one,
Earth
yeah.
came out years after this movie.
Oh, no way.
And it
Oh,
was,
my gosh.
Oh, it was god awful. And if
I got to say, I'm enjoying this because I purchased it today on digital for 4K, and it looks fantastic right now in 4K with this Egyptian. Yeah.
I bought it in 4K too, except my screen I'm watching it on only goes to like 720.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Oh, this is where they have Luke Perry for some reason in this movie.
Just briefly.
Aaron White in the house.
What's up, Aaron?
So what's up, my dudes? Checking and say what's up. My apologies, I can't join you all today. Hanging out with the family on vacation in Monterey. Oh, cool, man. Well, have a good vacation. Thank you for stopping by.
Monterey is a beautiful part of California. You're not far away from me, Aaron, actually, being in Monterey.
Yeah, but don't go visit him. That's not how Durban works.
Steve, you're so bitter.
I am. I'm always bitter. Every 5,000 years. Okay, so obviously they're doing the archaeological dig here. Now, I may have jumped ahead a little bit, but when these aliens show up, or these protectors, these metal beings, these are the clunkiest looking characters I've seen in any movie. Like, even though I love this movie, every time I see those characters, they always look so big and clunky. Do you know what I'm talking about, Durbin?
Yes, I do. They look like weird shaped Ninja Turtles, but I love them.
They look like metal donuts, kind of. So, a little fun fact: this actor here, these two actors in the scene, the priest and the scientist or guy, the Indiana Jones guy, they were in a movie 30 years before this one.
Huh.
And they've been friends ever since, and this is the other movie they ever been in together.
Fascinating. I know we're talking, Chandler, but you following this so far?
Yeah, I'm following it. I'm sorry if I'm not talking a lot. It's just the first time I'm watching it, and I'm like, I really want to see what this is about.
I get it totally.
So the priest is trying to poison him.
Because they're onto this 5,000-year-old secret
Yeah.
about the fifth element to protect the world from evil.
See, I might get zoned out too because I love this movie.
I'm in the zone with you. This is like one of those great sequences right here. I love this part.
Isn't this 300 years before when the rest of the movie takes place?
300 or 400.
So this spaceship coming down, I love the design of it. It reminds me of like a honeybee.
It has that feel, but I'm loving how silent it's coming down with the shadow blocking the light. I love that.
See how it had, like, I don't know, it just reminds me of like a stinger. Zeus light. Or Aziz light. That's the name he says.
I know that this is weird to say, but it's like looking at Mystery Science Theater 5000 or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, you haven't seen half of it yet, Chandler.
Even though this is like, not ripping off the movie, this is like just us doing the commentary on this film. This is just... Oh, I like this.
This is totally in light of that, and you can rip on the movie if you want, for sure. I'm about to rip on these guys right here. These
giant alien turtles,
most inefficient like warriors ever with their glowing crotches.
Oh,
like I want to see them actually battle. Like how effective are they in an actual battle?
Yeah, that would be interesting to see.
We could have seen it because this movie was supposed to kick off a trilogy, but
I did not know that, Steve.
Yeah, it never happened for some reason.
I don't even know how you continue after this movie.
It ended very like, very close.
What was that? What was that man drawing?
He was drawing the aliens.
He was drawing the aliens.
Oh,
yeah. So he was freaking out trying to sketch them as fast as he could.
Are you German?
Are you German? I love it. Uh-oh.
See, one thing I love about this movie is it reminds me of like Back to the Future, when the future you're seeing is the 80s future.
Yes.
Yes. This is like watching the 90s future. Like this is everything 90s, but in the future when we get to it. This right now is in the past, but
I want to know how he killed that guy.
He didn't kill him. He put him to sleep. I don't think they killed him. But these, you got to remember, we don't know this yet, but these are the good guys.
I know they're the good guys. I just always assumed that they killed him.
I mean, they didn't kill anybody else.
That's very true. They did not.
It's so weird seeing what we're seeing right now with these robots and that dude that was trying to poison them. They're the good guys, you said?
Yeah, they're trying to protect this secret so they can win the war against evil.
That statue is the fifth element right there. That's the fifth element, and these other stones are the four other elements.
That's fascinating. I wouldn't have picked, because in reality, you wouldn't have pictured these people as good guys. The way they look, the way they talk, or, having an idea of somebody poisoning another person, that's claimed to be evil or a bad thing that a person would do.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, because they're, I mean, in a sense, they're protecting the most valuable element in the universe, so it's kind of a weird balance. But I think this movie's setting up to catfish us into thinking that they are the bad guys. And then, so spoiler alert, Chandler, sorry.
That's fine. It's fine.
He said in 300 years when evil returns, so shall we?
Yep.
Yeah. So
Okay.
this is taking place 300 years before the rest of the movie takes place. Oh. See, I wonder how much he got to be in this movie, because his name is in the first three names of the opening credits.
But Chandler, isn't this what you just said? You see those aliens, and that's your first thought. They're the bad guys. See, that's why I thought he killed the professor. He said they killed the professor. But,
okay.
But yeah,
Maybe they did.
I'd be that kid with the gun. It's scary.
That's a good scene.
Durbin, and that would be you with a gun.
Yeah,
right
that
there.
would be me with a gun.
That's exactly what would happen.
Yeah, anybody in that, they would react exactly the same way.
See, this movie is one of those movies that, no matter how ridiculous it gets, it's going to get ridiculous, Chandler.
But that line is
so
key.
good.
Time is not important, only life.
Yep.
So hold on to that line, Chandler.
I'll try to. I'm still just mesmerized. I'm still just watching what's going on.
Well, good. That's what we're here for. I mean, how many watch parties have we done, Durbin, where me and you are for 5 minutes or just...
We have done several. I just feel bad for Chandler, who's never seen this movie and is hearing our commentary and trying to follow it.
No, this is actually fun.
Good. All right.
Yeah, so Chandler, I am going to be talking spoilers through this whole thing, so...
That's fine. I'm
FYI
totally fine with
on
that.
Okay.
I mean, I've seen the movie before. It's just that it's hard for me to, remember what's in it.
Yeah. I get that. I have those movies where it's like that in my head.
So, here, Durbin, maybe you can shine some light on this. This is no, that's a very Star Warsy shot right there.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah. I say more like Star Trek a little bit. Somewhat kind of like Star Trek. I don't know why, but
it's
maybe
funny.
it's the maybe it's the way that they looked out in space or something. I get the, looking out into outer space, you see some type of Star Wars theme there. But I guess it's their outfits or the way that they look. It's a combination of both Star Trek and Star Wars.
I can see that. For sure. I think the reason why I attached to Star Wars was because the original, title, or not title of this movie, but the movie slogan when they were first promoting it, were they said it's Star Wars of the 90s is what they were trying to promote this movie as when it came out.
Interesting.
So that's probably why I attached it. But
Star Wars of the 90s. I bet somebody would want their money back if they said oh, Star Wars, huh?
well, and the thing is, this is its own thing. It didn't need that sort of title at all.
Right. But just if you imagine Star Wars, you wouldn't imagine, Chris Tucker looking like that. You would imagine DVD special edition Star Wars.
Yeah, this is very late 90s, early 2000s MTV, sort of vibe to it. It gets so much crazier, but that's one of the things I love about it most. Now, Durbin, what I was going to ask you,
yes,
is this menacing thing that's coming towards the planet. That is one thing that I've never fully understood about this movie is what is that guy?
He, from what I've picked up, just like the girl is the fifth element, this is in itself evil made manifest. You know, if Jesus is God in the flesh, then this planet is evil in the flesh. And I guess this is like the form that it takes. So in my mind, it's just pure evil manifested.
It's just so weird to have this antagonist that you don't really see, you only hear just a couple of times. Just the entity itself is supposed to be the
helmets.
Oh, Chandler, there's a lot more of that, buddy.
But think about this, Steve. That's what's so scary about it. It's just a ball. It's like this impersonal ball, this impersonal planet. So because it's not even personal, it's even more scary. Because it's so big, it's all consuming. And to see how people react to it, like when it solidifies and it reacts to what they're doing, I mean, just the fear that could bring, like, yeah. That's how I look at it.
It does bring this presence that there's nothing that these people can do about this thing coming to them, which is why the fifth element is tapped. But instead, like the main antagonist of the movie, we actually get through Zorg.
Yes.
You know, like he's like the walking, you know, living, breathing.
Well, it just shows you how evil preys upon like the simple like him. Like he's just a twerp.
Yeah,
and so you see how evil uses twerps. And it used a little twerp like him who thought somehow life would go on after this with him on top.
And Gary Oldman played an excellent twerp in this movie.
Yeah, he did. Look at that. See, their evil feeds the evil, and the evil just grows. Like, I mean, what an amazing concept, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's like Doomsday and Batman v Superman.
Yes, it is. See, I think the message is you can't fight darkness with darkness. You fight fire with fire, the fire just gets bigger.
Right.
Now, I've never liked this fake blood that pours down this guy's head.
I don't like the blood.
It looks like
the
A1
concept
sauce. It looks like A1 sauce.
It does. It probably is A1 sauce. But it reminds me of like when Jesus was in Gethsemane and he prayed and the sweat came out as drops of blood. But, you know, that wouldn't be like that. Like, I never liked that. I've loved the concept because it shows the stress they're under. But I've never liked
segue.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't like the A1 sauce, Steve. But I like the concept. They could have done it better. But I remember that. The first time I saw that dude sweat blood, I just went, oh my gosh, that's how terrified he is. He is sweating blood. It's like, that's how you know you don't mess with that evil.
See, I never considered it like sweating blood. I always just considered it like brain literally just bleeding out.
I never considered it that way. That could be right. But
it happens to Zorg, too, later.
Well, that's why I said sweat blood, because, you know, he's alive after he sweats that.
Yeah.
But it shows you, like, when Zorg is talking to him on the phone, the sheer type of fear that presence brings to him. It's so intense that he's sweating blood.
So Bruce Willis, man. I am always a huge Bruce Willis fan. Always will be. And I love him being in this role. And he was the only actor asked to be in this role, but they did have a backup. If he was going to turn it down, Mel Gibson was next in line.
You know, nobody could do this like Bruce Willis, but if anybody was going to be the backup, Mel Gibson is just weird enough to do it.
Well, yeah, I mean, honestly, Bruce Willis and Mel Gibson both have this, like, Lethal Weapon, you know, good guy, you know, wrong place, wrong time type of, you know, thing to their characters. Like, I could see Bruce Willis in Lethal Weapon instead of Mel Gibson, you know, like,
yeah,
they have very similar characteristics. But, you know, Bruce Willis didn't get drunk and yell racial slurs at a cop, so
that is true.
There you go. Flash Paradise.
How do they not have HD 300 years in the future?
Just some things you can't predict. Did you see the phone he was talking on? It looked like he could open it up and Tic Tac should come out of it.
Yeah, but the Jetsons did a better job even with the phone. I mean, come on. This is hilarious.
This guy here is actually a French director. I don't remember having even his movies on hand, but he's just doing like a bit cameo because Luke Besson is a good friend of his. Luke Besson being the director of this movie.
That's awesome. What is he on? What is the future drug that makes you act like this?
What year is this, by the way?
1914 plus 300 years. I'm bad at math, but that's the year.
Plus 300 years, 1940. So that would be like 2,100 something.
Yes. So 2114.
14.
Yeah.
No. That'd be 2214.
2214. Okay.
Yeah. As we said 300 years, that would be a 2 in
Okay.
22.
I told you I don't like math.
There's
Are
a
we
reason.
getting close to the birth of Captain Kirk? Speaking of Star Trek, aren't we getting there?
Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah, I
That's not a nice hat.
No.
the way they shot this next sequence of him, like, of a future that actually has flying cars. Again, they did such an amazing job with this. The set design of how they made the set design for all this was so unique and like done on a macro level. Like all like
I
big,
agree.
like the big clock towers that you see. There's actually just like a pocket watch that they glued to some sticks, and just spray painted it. Like it's really cool.
It is cool. I wonder what happened that we abandoned touchscreens by this point in the future.
You can't do that, Durbin. It's not how movies work. This is an alternate universe.
Alternate, I got it. I'm with you.
This is the movies are analog multiverse.
So I don't know how you do a trilogy to this, but what I would love is the prequel to this to see man's first contact and how we built to this world. That would be really interesting to me.
That's a really good thought. This could start a whole prequel series.
Let's get on that, Steve. We can write it and make millions.
We'll have George Lucas do it and ruin it.
No.
No, he'll perfect it, in all honesty.
Oh.
Well, he can do the world building. We'll write the dialogue.
Yeah, there you go. There we go. We won't make our main protagonist a weenie.
Yeah. Complain about sand.
It's just so dry and it gets everywhere. Oh boy.
And just imagine Chris Tucker saying George Lucas lines. I like sand!
That would be awesome. Oh, man. I love these villains. Like, they look kind of cheesy, but I love
that
it.
looks like Star Wars.
Yes. They're carrying the Fifth Element on their ship right now and returning to Earth. Where are their shields? Battlestar Galactica has shields. Star Trek has shields. Star Wars has shields.
Everything has shields. Everything has shields.
Yes. Where's the shields? Independence Day. There were shields.
I know. I guess they're just not that prepared. I don't know. Well, roll credits, I guess.
Yeah.
For anybody just joining us, please say hello in the comment section. We are watching The Fifth Element. We are at 23 minutes and 30 seconds as of right now. And we get our introduction into Zorg, played by Gary Oldman.
This is my favorite introduction of any villain.
He did such a quirky job with this. It's so good how quirky it is. And he still does not like this movie.
Why?
Well, first of all, he did this movie as a favor because Luke Besson financed one of Gary Oldman's films, like one of his private films. So he did this as a favor to him, and he said he just never liked it, and to this day, he still doesn't understand why it's a cult classic.
Wow. That sounds like Obi-Wan in the original Star Wars trilogy. That guy did not like Star Wars.
Oh yeah, who's the guy in the top right misleading thumbnail? Thank you, Chandler. Yes. Chandler is with us from Hot Take for Nerds, and nobody else in that thumbnail is. So thank you, Chandler. We appreciate you joining on with us. And those other guys, they owe me a watch party.
What is wrong with their eyes? Like, okay, I can see why they'd have stuff on their face that would glow, but their eyes.
Remember, 90s future.
Yeah.
Black lights were the hot thing in the 90s, so
that's true. Hot Topic thrived.
Yes.
So anything that's white, it would just basically glow green. That's what I remember. Usually, if you go inside,
or like
a bowling alley or something like that.
Well, I mean, or like something like if you have a white speck on your black shirt, it will just glow super white.
Mm-hmm.
So you see in this, Chandler, infinite genetic knowledge, and we're seeing how this is the perfect being, this fifth element.
It's the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah. It's that dude's hand from earlier. They cut it out of the wall, and now it's sitting there with that little, I guess, a piece of DNA of the fifth element.
That's not what that is, Durbin.
That's not what that is?
No, this was the statue, the fifth element statue that they rescued at the beginning of the movie.
Got it.
This is what's left after that explosion we just watched.
Oh, I totally see it now. Okay.
Yeah, so like now they're rebuilding it cell by cell. Now, the CGI is a little cartoony for our standards today, but dude, 90s, this is amazing.
Yeah, I could see this being a little. Some of the CGI in here is a little cheap with like the DNA, or it's not like terrible.
Like that shot there is not as bad as the earlier shot.
Right.
No.
Still not the best though, but whatever. I mean, they got the spaceships looking good, and that's what you want in a movie like this.
It's like CGI in like the Sam Raimi, not the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie, but like the two other Spider-Man movies, Spider-Man 2 and 3, where it's not bad, but it's good enough where you're not necessarily distracted.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. So Chandler, going back to your comment about, was Mila Jovovich overly sexualized in this movie? I just took this movie for what it is. They just literally built this being from almost scratch. So her coming into play naked makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I guess I never saw it that way before. But then, like, his reaction gawking at her and saying that he's going to need to take photos. Yeah, that's a little... that's a little over... Yeah. If it makes it any better, her and the director got married, so...
Oh, they did?
For a while. It didn't last, but yeah, they got married. As a matter of fact, his wife that he has while this movie is shooting is also in this movie. But
oh my gosh. Well, that just took hey, they got married to oh man, they got married?
Yeah, right. See, I love this part. I love Mila Jovovich brings such a good presence. Like, she can be anybody. She can be from any country, any world, outer space.
Yeah.
Like and she does a great job portraying that in this film.
And she's the fifth element.
Yes.
That's what she is.
Yep.
She is the supreme being with perfect genetics, the fifth element.
Yes, and for those of you just joining us, Chandler has only seen this movie once and only about 3/4 of it, so he's discovering this all brand new. And if you are just joining us, we are watching The Fifth Element. We are at 28 minutes and 21 seconds.
Of all the sci-fi movies, how everything and everybody speaks English, I love that she's speaking a strange language here.
Yes, and her and Luke Besson, the director, Mila and Luke Besson, came up with this language themselves. They wrote it themselves, and they spent months just passing notes back and forth to each other, only speaking in this language.
Wow. I need to spend more time with the special features of this movie, because that's really cool information.
Well, you know me, man. That's what I do.
Yeah. See,
So-
he's a jerk, and
Yeah,
now we get to see her primal instincts reacting to evil.
He's like, because that glass is supposed to be not breakable.
Oh boy.
See, perfect genetics breaks the unbreakable glass.
And jumps through what seems to be gold tinfoil.
Yes.
I don't know why sometimes even like an advanced scientist, people just don't leave these things alone.
Yeah.
We can always go ahead and assume that we can be able to contain the problem, like in Jurassic Park or anything
Yes.
that has to do with science. But yet, even when situations like that, we're like, no, we're smart enough to handle this. Clearly, you're not.
Yeah, we humans don't learn, do we? Here they're thinking,
No.
we can handle this girl. But no, it's the supreme freaking being. It is the fifth element. No, you can't contain the fifth element.
But it's an accurate representation of human beings. I mean, that's
Yes,
what
it is.
This is what we would do. Like, well, they might be smart, but they're not as smart as we are. So,
Oh, no, we're super smart. Ah,
Trust
dang it,
me.
we messed up again, but we're still
This-
super smart.
this glass is unbreakable, so we're good.
Nobody can break through our gold tinfoil.
I can't believe she unbreak it.
This is such a beautiful shot of her.
Now that you've seen Loki, I see some similarities here.
Yeah. See, isn't that city just remarkable? Like, I just love it.
I do too. I think it's really cool looking.
And just like watching how they did it, like as I said before, just like every little detail is just hot glued to things. Like this, I guess that's how miniature sets work, but it just looks.
And
really
as we'll
good
see
here.
later, they really definitely had McDonald's as a major sponsor.
Oh God, yeah. I almost used that McDonald's shot where it's on the side of the building, coming up here in just a few minutes. I almost used that as the background to our live
Oh,
stream.
nice. But you never know if you're going to make McDonald's mad or not.
It's probably what they got the crew to eat the entire
Yeah.
time. That's probably why they have that brand in the entire film.
Now, why do cars fly, but the train is on a track?
Well, I'm guessing that a train on a building is pretty much probably the future elevator when your
I
buildings
think
are miles
that-
high.
I think it would be more impossible to have a train to fly because it would be more dangerous than a singular vehicle just
Good
going
point.
out in the middle of the air.
That is
Well-
a good point.
Well, Dr. Emmett Brown would disagree with you from Back to the Future. So
You know what? That's
True,
true.
he would. He would. Why do they have glow sticks hanging from the ceiling?
because
I just noticed
90s. 90s.
The
glow
90s. You're
sticks.
right. You're right. This is the 90s, 2214.
Yes, glow sticks, black lights, weird crotch illuminations.
Poor Bruce Willis. He's just trying to have a life, you know? Try not to lose points on his license, and the fifth element crashes through his cab.
See, he plays this role like such Bruce Willis style. Like you could just tell me this is Die Hard future, and I would believe you.
Yep. What? And he's the son of Die Hard from, way back in the days. Like he's just a direct descendant.
That- Speaking of which, are they ever going to make that Die Hard movie?
There's a Die Hard movie more? There's another one?
It's
I
been
I've
think
like,
only seen the first Die Hard movie. I've never seen any of the other sequels. To be
I
honest,
recommend the third one. The third one is my favorite.
I like
Well,
the third one.
well,
I
the fir-
haven't
the-
seen the second. But after the third one, I'm done. Like, it's not good.
The third one is what got me introduced into Die Hard.
Same with me.
But I've grown to like the first one more, but I still really love the third one. And if they do make a new one, I would love them to bring Samuel L. Jackson back
That'd be cool.
because him and Bruce Willis's chemistry was really fun in that movie.
I just think it's time to let that franchise die.
That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen in
I
the movie
know.
world.
I remember Bruce Willis falling in love with the Fifth Element. I remember that.
Yeah, she kind of falls in love with him first, in a sense.
Oh, she does?
You'll see.
Kinda. Yeah, you'll see.
Actually, it might be up for interpretation. So I'd be very curious,
that's
Chandler.
very
What do you
true.
think as it goes? I'd be very curious.
But yeah, bada boom, big boom, bada boom, big.
Big bada boom. I'm glad bada boom is part of her language. and it happens to fit with what just happened.
I am the law.
I am the law.
Thank you, Chandler.
It is
I
very
bet-
Dr. Dredd.
I
Yes.
see Judge Dredd every time I
Judge
see
Dredd.
these
I said
cops.
Dr. Dredd. Oops.
You did, but it works. It works.
Dr. Dredd. That's Judge Dredd's brother. Sorry.
I need to see that movie again. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Which one? The 90s one or the most
The
recent one?
90s one. I've never
That
seen
one
the
I
one
saw
that had
recently. So dumb and fun.
yeah.
The new one is pretty interesting.
I haven't seen the new one.
It's interesting.
Yeah, me neither.
Let's do a watch party.
We should do this so often, like on movies that I haven't necessarily seen. That would get me like more hooked into seeing them.
Well, one thing I think Durbin and I have tried before in Durbin, we could actually rebirth it now. I think our original change my mind concept
Yes.
is what we're doing now. This is how we should have done that.
I agree.
It's where I like a movie and he doesn't, or vice versa, and then we try to convince each other, to like it or why not to like it.
Like Steve wrongfully doesn't like Lord of the Rings, and we tried to film an episode of me changing his mind. It didn't work because his mind didn't change, and it should have.
And we didn't really do live streams then. I wasn't set up for it at least.
Yeah.
So we were, my idea was good, but conceptually how I was doing it was terrible, which is why it never saw the day of light.
That's a pretty cool idea. It's kind of like, like the good or bad videos, like what I do on my channel, except
Yeah.
it's like you both talking to each other and
Yeah.
convincing each other why you do feel that way and
Well-
why you would want them to see the other side of the
Yeah,
opinion.
it's good not to put yourself in an echo chamber and to have other opinions, to bounce off of or dispute with or what have you.
It's interesting how she was able to read English. The homeless girl on the back of the taxi cab where it said help, and she's able to read it and pronounce it. I mean, I know she's the fifth element, but it's just something I've always kind of wondered.
That was the
It's
shot.
probably like,
that was used.
intelligence of mind or something like that. Oh.
Yeah,
They
she-
dress differently at McDonald's in the future.
Wow. Yeah. She's got some Mickey double D's.
She got two peepees? Said double D, so...
I would hate to get Coca-Cola all down my uniform like that. It'd just be so cold and then sticky later on.
Well, and then it looks very high tech, so it'd be sparking.
Yeah, I think he'd be electrocuted by his own police uniform right now. Wow.
Durbin, this movie, in a sense, reminds me of a brighter version of The Crow, just aesthetically speaking. It's kind of got that grunge vibe to it.
It kind of does. Crow is still definitely darker, but I
Way
see what
darker,
you mean, that there is a little bit of that 90s grunge-ishness to it. Wow, the future. If you are a car thief and in police pursuit, you could just be killed.
Car thief, death. And we're about to get our second McDonald's plug here.
Yep, McDonald's is our sponsor for the Fifth Element.
Anybody else find
This
it
is
weird?
like...
Oh, go ahead.
You
Shannon.
ever seen that, you guys ever seen that Power Rangers movie that came out but never got a sequel? Like, it
Yes.
was in the early 2010s, where they
Oh,
kept
no, I did
constantly
not see
talked
that
about
one.
the... They kept constantly talked about Krispy Kreme at the end of the movie. And
Oh, yes,
there's just-
the newest one. Yes, I did see that one. And yes, you are right. I see that.
that's kind of what's reminding me of this in The Fifth Element.
Hey, that Power Rangers movie deserved a sequel. I like that grittier take on Power Rangers. That was awesome.
I really
I
enjoyed
like that.
I really enjoyed the fan-made Power Rangers that they did on YouTube. It was actually made by
I saw that.
yeah, but it was actually made by like an actual director. Like he just funded it himself and had people from Dawson's Creek in it, and it was like a rated R take of that. And the people making, because Power Rangers 2010 was in pre-production when that trailer came out, and they tried to get it taken off. No, don't take this down because we're making this movie and it's not this. So
Wow.
does this like? I know this is odd bringing it up, but this environment somewhat remind you of Blade Runner? At
A
least
little
with
bit.
how the futuristic sense, Blade Runner has somewhat of tech. It's not being unrealistic with its advanced technology because some of it is like taking old or not necessarily futuristic, where it's being highly advanced futuristic type of elements, but more so. I don't know how to describe it.
No,
but
I get what you're saying. It's like having this futuristic car, but still having a tape player in it. You know, like kind
Right.
of thing. Like,
Yeah.
it seems grounded with elements that we would understand, but also in the future.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely has that. It also, this is going to sound weird, it reminds me of the Jetsons. The fact that the Jetsons live in those like high risers that go way above the clouds because the Earth is so polluted below. Same deal
That's
here.
kind of what I was thinking when seeing the police cars. In all honesty, I don't know why.
Well, Chandler, going back to what you said, I believe that sort of genre, which didn't really take off as its own genre, it just kind of got absorbed into other genres, is called techno-war. Blade Runner,
Right.
also a techno-war would be the original Terminator movie.
Probably. I've seen. Well, that type of style was kind of transitioned over into like an anime that I watched called Ghost in the Shell. It had that same type of vibe, but also like the Matrix mixed inside of it.
Yeah.
Yep. Ghost in the Shell was pretty good. At least the original
Yeah.
animated one was.
All right. So Chandler, do you know who this guy is?
No.
Ian Holm.
Well, not the guy himself. The character. I'm sorry. The character is, remember that priest at the beginning who tried to poison the archaeologist?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that guy.
He is the priest of this time.
Yeah. He's in that same order. The knowledge is passed down to him, and he's the priest
Oh.
tasked with keeping the key and the knowledge of how to use the fifth element to defeat evil.
Yep.
Okay, that was a little weird. I didn't know if he was like time traveling, it was the same person, but no, you told me that it was like just knowledge passed down to the same person.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Durbin did better than I did. Thank you. That's why I love him on this channel.
Oh, Bruce Willis. I'm sorry, Corbin Dallas.
Oh, no. That's creepy. That's
It is creepy. I mean, I know she was throwing up some serious "I'm into you" eyes earlier, but you don't do that.
Well, she was also pleading for her life. You know,
Yeah,
begging
she was
for help.
pleading for her life. Yeah. Guess it's easy to cross those signals.
I love this interaction here, though.
I do too.
I like his Jersey accent or something.
Yes.
Yeah, bing, bada, boom, you know.
It's Corbin Dallas. I'm a taxi cab driver. Huh? Why don't you come over to my place? We'll have some spaghetti or a pie. That whole thing's your name. Okay.
It's like Tarzan now. We're doing Tarzan.
Yeah.
You're right. It's not a bad observation. All right.
He's smitten a little fast here, and I'm trying to figure out, is it because she reminds him of his ex-wife?
I wouldn't get that. What I would get is there's this super like universe changing event that he has no clue about that
Good point.
that he's destined to, and his small monkey brain only knows how to translate it as man kiss woman. You know,
Yes.
like he doesn't quite understand it, and that's what makes this relationship beautiful. They have no business being love interests at all, but I don't think he quite understands it yet.
What you're saying is something heavenly has come down to the earth incarnate, and his human mind is trying to wrap around it.
Yes, via Via his wiener, yes.
Oh, that
What?
got Earth 3
What?
real quick.
Wow. Yeah.
Welcome to Film Trigger.
I like the cat. The cat needs a bigger role.
No, I think that cat is like a callback to the like Alien, the Alien movie where they had
Yep.
what was that cat's name?
I don't remember.
I can't remember. It showed up in the first movie, and it also showed up in the second movie, but only like in the first 15 minutes. Was never heard of or seen of again. There's an actual like fan club about that cat.
Now, what do you think happened in the midst of time that there's no cell phones anymore?
I have no idea.
Maybe they were banned because of the mass rate of brain tumors that they caused.
Right. That makes sense.
Is that what I need to do, Durbin? Do I just need to like translate why technology that you recognize is not in a futuristic movie?
Yes, that's what you need to do for me. You have to put it in that type of context to make it work for me.
I mean, I don't understand why don't they order anything from Amazon? I don't get it.
Everybody order. I'm watching on Amazon. Come on.
You're watching on Vudu, you liar.
Okay, you
I
know
forgot my
what?
Voodoo password, so I'm on Amazon because I couldn't remember the password for Voodoo.
I think some of the reason why some people would probably say that she's being over-sexualized is maybe because the interpretation of she was naked at the beginning and the addition that Bruce Willis is only describing her body parts and is trying to kiss without her permission. I mean,
Yeah.
this probably isn't putting her in a position of being over-sexualized like with Black Widow and Iron Man 2.
Right.
But this one is
Correct.
like... There's some implications of why I can understand it, but this one is more like it's trying to tell a story.
I want
Yeah,
that microwave.
it's a
I
little
want
bit-
that microwave.
It's
Sorry,
a little
go
bit
on.
more organic the way it happens. Like it's just not like, hey, look, check out this hot babe. You know, like there's like he's almost like they put him in a position where he looks like the dumb male for thinking that way, rather than you know him.
But let's
being-
go back to what you said earlier. This is a universe-changing thing that has happened. So everything compared to what she is dumb because she is like the supreme being, and he is not. And so his mind is adapting the best way it can to this change that is occurring.
Yeah, exactly. He just hasn't been enlightened yet.
No. Sorg.
Dude, that headpiece.
Oh
looks like
my
it would be
gosh.
so comfortable.
I forgot about that character.
I love the headpiece. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand its function or utility. Is it a hat? Like, what is it?
Crap.
I
Who's
think
that
I'm gonna-
actor?
That's Gary Oldman.
I knew he looked familiar.
Yeah, he played Commissioner Gordon in the Nolan Batmans.
Just imagine him looking like that in the Nolan trilogy Batman films. That would be
or him
odd.
looking like that as Sirius Black in Harry Potter.
Oh,
I think I'm going to wear my side hat today.
I am too. I'm bad with names.
probably that scene as well.
As
Some
I-
people would have some implications.
Right, like I said, there's some 90s side boob that you'll get. I think there's like one other shot. I can see where that would be why that would be brought up, but I guess I just never saw it that way, you know. So Gary Oldman's character Zorg here is like the embodiment of whatever that dark planet is. Like he's the voice of that dark planet on Earth.
Yes.
You know,
It's like he's its prophet, its mouthpiece on Earth.
yeah. But I love the way he played this character because he's not like your typical menacing, you know.
No, he's a
bad guy.
salesman. He is a used car salesman. Like that is his personality type.
Yeah, yeah, pretty, like one of those like Southern business owners that are just trying to get one over you, like it's like a car salesman. Yeah.
See, in my mind, I feel like Gary Oldman, he does such a good job in this role. I feel like he must be having a blast because he does so flippin' good. And that's why it shocks me so much that to this day he doesn't like this movie.
And he didn't like doing it, and he always says, "I just did it as a favor," and I still don't understand why it's a cult classic.
I can see why he doesn't like it. It's just
Oh, Chandler, I cannot wait for your review.
oh, I didn't know I was going to do a review. Oh, it's
Well,
just,
we'll
you're
talk
talking
about
like
it a little bit when it's
yeah.
over. So,
Okay.
you know, not review per se.
I kind of miss this. I kind of miss this in movies now and then where you don't always see CGI in a film. They use practical effects as well.
I love the practical effects of this movie. They use CGI where they need to for like the ships and, you know, bringing Lilu from a single cell to a person. Like, okay, it makes sense to use CGI there.
Her last name is Multipass.
Yes, Multipass.
They stopped doing this like around this year, like in 1996 or 1999. They stopped doing like the practical effects and CGI together. It's just full-blown CGI now.
Well,
I love how the scene is edited. How they tell the story through the editing.
They're telling two different stories, but like with each other. I think movies are starting to figure out to going back and using more practical, especially the horror genre. I think they're figuring out that CGI just works better as a tool and not as like your whole thing.
Yep.
You know, that Nightmare on Elm Street remake being a prime example of that. They just over CGI'd everything about it.
I didn't see that one.
Are you still doing a live watch party of Nightmare on Elm Street 3 with me?
Oh, I need to.
we should put that on the books.
We definitely need to.
Again, only saw the first one. I heard the third one was pretty good.
The third and first one are always head to head of which one's better.
That's kind of like with me with Rocky. I've always loved the third movie a lot.
Well, I think what makes Nightmare on Elm Street 3, like, not only is it just a really good story, but it's the movie that we actually got everything we know about Freddy in. The first movie, it's missing a little element, you know, missing the little one-liners that he does and stuff like that. But the third one is when it was a good balance of when we actually got to see Freddy be Freddy, and the Freddy that we see for the rest of the franchise. Well, the good version of it, rather.
I love this part.
Yeah, Luke Besson did a really good job telling these different stories, like everything that like having one actor say something, then they go to another shot where it's playing out. You know, I think it's really cool.
So Chandler, if you missed it, he was supposed to have the box of the 4 stones, and he opens the box, and the 4 stones aren't there. So before Lilu crashed on that other planet, they had taken the stones to another place. So it was a fake. The stones didn't come to Earth, just the 5th element.
Wow. Yeah, and that's Zorg's entire thing right now is that he's been commissioned by this giant planet that's headed towards Earth to find the stones.
That's a lot of information.
And right now he's failed.
And you don't want to fail the giant evil planet. Jeez.
You know what? What's really interesting, Chandler, that you may not notice it on your first watch or on this watch, but Bruce Willis, the main good guy, and Zorg, the main bad guy, have zero interaction at all in any point in time in this movie.
Huh.
Well, that's right.
They don't talk to each other. They don't interact. They don't shoot. There's only one scene that they're in together, and that's when they pass by each other in a like in a hallway or something. But that's it. They don't even talk about each other.
I don't even think I've seen a movie that's done that before.
Yeah, it's very strange.
It's very cool, though.
I give him kudos for originality, honestly.
Now, Chandler, this scene is interesting. So he just took something whole and destroyed it. And look what the chaos created.
He's explaining why having death and destruction is a good thing. This is actually a really good scene. I always forget how good this scene is.
Well, I mean, it shows you his motivation. Like, if that planet is so evil and he's so scared of it that he sweats blood later, why on earth is he obeying it? And now you kind of get this little look into his mind as to what he actually thinks.
Yeah, but then you get instant karma.
Yep. Choking on the cherry.
Your entire empire. Where's the robot to pat you on the back?
You see, this is great because it's not just words. We're actually seeing their philosophies in action.
Oh, well. Press the wrong button.
He's panicking. See, this little guy right here, this little thing was shot separately. Like, it was something the director wanted in, but they didn't actually get to shoot it with Gary Oldman. So they did a post-production, like, behind-the-scenes little shoot and just spliced it into this shot.
Fascinating. So what's brilliant there for me, Chandler, is seeing their philosophies in action. And we saw where the bad guy's philosophy failed. Because death is death.
Yeah, how his entire empire came crashing down because of
over one cherry.
Single cherry.
I love that shot too. Now look at that. Taking in communication satellites so it can communicate.
I just realized that guy playing the president is also in The Dark Knight with Gary Oldman.
Are you serious?
He's the guy on the boat.
Oh, yes, he is the guy on the boat. I was thinking this whole time he looks so familiar.
Yeah.
Well, he's also
I forgot about that.
He's also in Friday.
I didn't see Friday, but I did see The Dark Knight. So awesome.
And Chris Tucker was in Friday as well, wasn't he?
I believe so.
Parallels. All right.
Mm-hmm.
See, what the hell is this thing? How is that? How in this entire future of technology, this is the stupidest thing I've seen. I think they literally super glued a fake satellite dish on that actual cockroach.
Yeah.
And by the way, I also believe this is the perfect way that we should do mail. All mail should be done this way, where you don't have to have to go around the car. Just have a tube, like, Futurama style, just like it just delivers mail right to you.
What happens if it's a really big package?
Well, you can order the bigger tube for $10 more.
You're the used car salesman in this universe.
Oh, thank you, Durbin.
He's fired.
Is that the same guy in Waterworld? Is that guy in Waterworld?
I don't think it's the same dude that's in Waterworld.
No? All right. Where did I recognize?
Go ahead.
recognize him. I recognize that guy from something else.
Oh, no, I know. I've seen him in lots of things, and I can't think of him right now.
I can't pinpoint it. All right, jerk.
I like that hoverboat. I hope it goes faster than that, though, or it's going to cause traffic.
Is a hoverboat really different than a hover car? Is it
You wouldn't think so, but it did look like it was going slower there.
like does it work off the sails? You know, does it have to catch the wind?
So Flossed in Paradise, Chandler, in case you missed it through our talking, is a planet that's like Hawaii, a whole planet of Hawaii, and the stones are there.
They don't know that.
They don't, but the priest does, and
But the
Lilu
priest
does.
Yep.
Somehow the army does because they're sending him there.
How do they know about? Well, the priest was talking to them. That's how they know. The priest was there, talking to them, right?
Not about that. That
Not
hasn't come back around. I don't know how they know, actually, because we were talking. Dang it.
Oh, and their little nod to Star Wars here, if you can't tell. The lady with the...
Oh, yes. Yeah, see, they know somehow. Uh-oh.
That's why you always read the final print.
Yeah.
So this next sequence of actions just seem very odd to me. Even a movie that's this odd to begin with.
Well, it's just everything converging all in one point, and then it happens again a little bit later.
Well, I just mean like the way that he treats these military officers, like I don't know, the whole interaction of it just seems like a little suspension of disbelief, like a lot of suspension of disbelief.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the way like he shoves them into places to hide.
Yeah. Like they're military officers, just like, no, we're leaving. Screw you. Well, I guess he did throw out the word love first, right?
I think he did, yeah. I mean, he didn't throw it out to her first.
All right, so coming up soon, this is going to come back into play. You guys will see why I brought this to the set today.
So this is kind of like a complicated situation for him. He used to be in the military, and they're pretty much going to ask for him to get something which has to do with the fifth element.
Yeah,
but he's entangled with the fifth element, and he doesn't want her to be anywhere near this military group.
But he doesn't know she's the fifth element. He just doesn't want her anywhere near the military
Yeah, but
group.
that would come later into like the story, though.
So the military group wants him to go to Floston to bring the stones back. That's his mission. Little they know the fifth element is actually in that room, and now you have this priest who wants to take his prize of winning the tickets to Floston Paradise so he could go to Floston to get the stones. Everybody wants to go get the stones.
Oh my gosh, they did an Obi-Wan Kenobi reference right there.
Did they?
Yeah, like he was wearing the suit. He looks exactly like Obi-Wan from the very first Star Wars A New Hope.
Nice.
He does, actually.
I never thought about it that way.
Yeah. This movie's in love with Star Wars.
Yeah, it is.
You know, maybe this is the poor side of Star Wars.
The poor side of Star Wars.
Like, you know, you have Star Wars, and they got their fancy ships and lightsabers, and this is the, dirty New York, what Earth looks like in the Star Wars universe.
Oh, okay, I got you now.
Like, they can't afford lightsabers. They have beds with plastic.
So this is a planet now not so far away. It's
Right.
here
Yes.
now. Okay. All right. So this guy coming up who says "smoke you," he's shaving with this knife. Right there.
That's the knife you have on your set.
Yeah. That's it. It's my little prop that I have.
Smoke you?
Yeah, smoke you.
That's how we keep this PG-13, fellas.
No problem showing the fingers, but we can't say the cuss word.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
See, everybody's trying to take his identity and his tickets.
Yeah, this is definitely like a Three's Company type of situation.
And now they're trying to do it. It's hilarious.
Yeah, so how many? There's what, 4 different groups of people trying to get
Yes.
the tickets,
and they just want their money, their deal honored. So they're going off to like get the stones. There it is. There it is. The 4 groups.
cue the classic 80s love music.
Yep.
Saxophone playing desperately in the background.
Yeah.
It is so weird to hear the saxophone in this scene.
It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit this movie at all.
No, it doesn't.
Like, which is odd because the soundtrack to this movie is actually really, really good. Like,
Is
like
the saxophone?
but not like this. This stands out from the rest of the soundtrack. As a matter of fact, a little fun fact about the soundtrack is also I can't remember his name. The same guy that did GoldenEye did the music for this one, and he actually got in some trouble because he kind of copied and pasted a lot of his GoldenEye music into this movie.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
There they go again.
Yep. Classic.
Okay, what kind of priest is he? He just did the sign of a cross. I'm pretty sure he's not that kind of priest.
That's a good question, Durbin. I mean, maybe there's some weird, like Christianity parallels to that
Maybe.
religion that we don't know about.
Okay, throw that in the prequel.
So, a little deleted scene is Zorg has been ignoring like his duties to the city so much that trash is building up. That's why that wall of trash is at this airport.
I've always wondered why the airport is half trash.
Yeah, there's a deleted scene that explains this, but they took it out. And yeah, so yeah, that's why there's a heaping pile of trash at the airport.
I think you should leave a scene like that in.
When you're cutting for time, it's not that pivotal part of the story.
I love how nervous this kid is.
So they have
this
him
is like halfway through the movie. I think I've seen like less than it's probably just halfway of the movie that I've only seen, because I think I remember the moment where Bruce Willis was knocked out and they were doing something.
So
that's probably
now,
where I'm starting to remember what this movie is.
Yeah, this guy is the priest's apprentice, and he's posing as Corbin Dallas. But he just got busted.
And there's our other Corbin Dallas imposter.
Yep.
So one group was the priest, then Dallas, that's 2. Those guys is 3.
Well, the military technically is 4. That would be the... Well,
it's just fun watching them all converge again and
Yeah.
counting them.
Oh, shh.
And he's getting drunk. What kind of priest is he?
Well, from what I know of priests, they get drunk quite often. So
Yeah, some priests can probably get drunk. Yes.
That's very true.
I mean, have you ever watched The Exorcist? Come on now.
No, I have not.
You want some more? Oh, so he gives him the key. Okay, that's good. This is such a big responsibility. I should never given it to you. Here's the
key to the whole temple.
Yeah.
Wow, they were able to
like
figure
this
that out
movie
pretty
is
quick with technology.
I feel like this movie is very ahead of its time, where it would definitely work now
Yep.
to anybody that would like see this, because this movie's about like appreciate who you are. You know, these characters are like
That's a good way to
a lot
think of that.
different than like other people usually are looking like.
Yep. Oh, here we go.
Yeah. Yep. This is where I start to remember the movie. We're going to be introduced to Chris Tucker, aren't we?
Yes,
Yeah.
we are.
Now, to lead up to that, Chris Tucker was not the first choice to play this role. The first choice to play this role was Prince.
Was who?
Oh, that would
Prince.
fit perfectly.
Yeah, but
Fascinating.
You want to know the very ironic reason why he turned it down?
Why?
Why?
He saw the costumes and thought they were too feminine.
Fascinating.
He should not be talking.
Right? What a weird reason to do that. Like
That.
Okay.
Wow.
So they got Chris Tucker because Chris Tucker was trying to get rid of his like Friday vibe. You know, he wanted people to know that he was an actor.
Yeah.
And he based his character off Michael Jackson.
It's amazing that in the future radio is still a thing, and then he's that big of a DJ. Like today, I think we'd say he was like an Instagram star.
Yeah, or a YouTube creator. Yeah. No, he's giving off a really big Twitch vibe.
Yeah. He would have like floating cameras around him and broadcasting live on Twitch and TikTok.
Is that the way that he would just sign autographs, just get a paintbrush and then like just spread it all the way around?
If you notice, all these flight attendants look very similar.
They really do.
They all have light skin and freckles.
And they have like dark eye
Oh!
shadow.
So, Chandler, this is going to be a little out of your realm, I believe. But Durbin, do you remember the real Ghostbusters cartoon?
Yes.
Isn't that the same hairstyle Egon had?
Oh my gosh, yeah. That might be a little bit exaggerated, but it is about the same that
Yeah.
Egon had, yeah. I think what is hilarious is he is attractive to women in the clothes that he's wearing and the way that he acts.
Again, going back to Prince. I mean, look how just excessive Prince is in the way that he dresses, but like he was a chick magnet, you know, that women loved him.
Fascinating.
Again, going into back what Chandler said, you know, it's about just being comfortable who you are, accepting, you know, this is who I am.
How do you even trust it when it's all yes men around you? How did I do? And they're all yes men. It's like
I don't know, but I really would like to have an entourage just so I could chase them away by buzzing them.
Yep.
Tucker can make me laugh.
Yeah, I miss Chris Tucker. We should have more of him. I think he got. I think those movies they did with Jackie Chan just I don't know. I think was hard for him to escape from. He should have stayed to his guns and done more of these outrageous roles.
Yeah.
I also
Well,
miss.
I mean, it's weird because I thought Rush Hour was pretty darn good. It's just
No,
hard.
they were, but he wanted to do this movie so he could show people that he can, he's not put in a pigeonhole as typecasting him. But then he just went to Rush Hour and he just kind of just played Chris Tucker, just doing Chris Tucker things. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at it weird, but
Yeah, but we need more Chris Tucker doing weird things.
I kind of want to see more Jackie Chan in comedies, to be honest.
Yep, I would too.
he did a string of them for a while. I think it ended when he did that. Oh, what was it called? Shanghai at Noon or something?
Yes,
can't
I
remember.
love Shanghai Noon.
Yeah, is that what it was called? Okay.
Yep, Owen Wilson, Jackie Chan, Old West.
Yes. Yep. I think that was the last one I saw him in of that variety. Then he did the Karate Kid movie.
I wish my brain worked like hers.
Where you can spend hours of studying in just 1 minute.
Yep, and just know it.
All right, so they really harp on this concept here where she's the supreme being, she protects him, but we find out later that, like, even though she does kick some ass, in the third act of this movie, or maybe the end of the second act, she's still the one that needs protecting from him.
I think that's part of her character act, right? Like, she is the supreme being, but that's kind of what it is, learning to love. Learning that you also are vulnerable, and then allowing somebody else in to protect you as well. And so it's kind of interesting to see her character arc along with Corbin's character arc.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening to a thing you were saying. I was busy with Tucker, whatever he was doing.
Yeah, he steals every scene he's in, man. This little thing, I think it's here where they spray, the fireballs.
Yep.
This is a nod to Star Trek, the little fuzzballs in Star Trek, the TV series.
Yeah, the furry
original.
thingies that I can't remember what they're called.
Yeah, the original furry things. That was a nod to that. This is definitely like a movie that's paying homage to, its sci-fi roots. All right. Along with our prequel series, I also wanted like a buddy cop film with those two Rastafarians that just, did
that'd be
underwork
fun.
in the plane. And now they're doing that going back and forth storytelling that you liked, Durbin.
I think it's part of the unique language of this movie, the way they edit the scenes back and forth, like to tell these multiple little stories that are all very much connected.
And it kind of just fits the mood of this film because it is acting like a comedy and it's such a weird environment that when it cuts back and forth to like going back to story, then going back to, these weird moments with just like Chris Tucker being so expressive and exhilarant in his character, and then going back to like Lilu and then her character.
Yep.
It makes sense. It fits within this entire film.
Yeah, well, everybody's just like, with the exception of Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis aesthetically is, but everyone else is designed to be so vibrant in their characters.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess in that sense, Bruce Willis is the human element, if you will. Something that we can connect to. Jesus.
Again, it's just like it's perfect. You got something intimidating and seeing something very bad happening, and then all of a sudden you see Chris Tucker just like...
They definitely moved the Statue of Liberty, or they built the city outwards towards it. Oh, here we go. I love this communication between the ball of evil and Zorg. See, you get the joke there? It's literally making a call.
Mr. Shadow. I never caught that before. How many times I've seen this movie, I never caught that they called him Mr. Shadow.
Ooh. Makes it more sinister, doesn't it?
Like, it's kind of elementary.
Okay, so the voice doesn't sound scary. What makes it scary is looking at his face, how much it's getting wetter and wetter with sweat, and then that drop of blood that's starting to come down. It's like, what is this presence?
It would have been interesting if we didn't hear what Mr. Shadow was saying. You just only saw the reaction.
Oh, that's a good point, Steve.
Like, I bet you could. I bet you could take out the audio of Mr. Shadow or whatever his name is, and this scene would be completely different, or more impactful, rather.
Now, did you notice the mirror image here? Like, the good guy said, time not important, only life. And Zorg just said, money's not important, only I want the stones. Like, how selfish it was.
Yeah, it's a very good point, Durbin. What is this? Oh.
I feel like it was a financial game for him until this moment.
Yep. Well, like, isn't the end game for this thing to destroy the planet?
Yes, it is. It's
so like, what's Zorg planning to benefit off that? Isn't he privy to that?
well, I think that's the point, right? I think the point is how deceived he is, because what we saw with his whole logic with breaking the glass and the chaos created organization, the chaos created reason and purpose, and I think that's where he's deceived. I think he's thinking Mr. Shadow is going to give him a top position in a new world order that is now brought to life out of fresh chaos. But he's very mistaken. And that's how evil works. Like, it feeds off that kind of deception.
All right.
I feel like Hawaii moved to another planet.
No, it's not even to another planet. They're on a space shuttle. Well,
I feel like the whole planet's an ocean, and they're in a spaceship above it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. They are. They're going for the Star Wars way of to do planets. Just take a region of Earth and make it an entire planet.
There you go.
You have an ice planet. You have a sand planet. You have a water planet.
I want to know how she got out of that sleep pod so far ahead of Corbin here.
It's like Batman. She's the fifth element. That's it.
Okay.
I'm Batman. I'm the fifth element.
Now, everybody had to be put to sleep, right? How did he make it?
I never thought about that. Well, weren't they only put to sleep just to make the trip seem quicker?
I think so.
I mean,
but it seemed mandatory.
But the pilots weren't asleep.
That's true. They weren't. So unnatural how she says that line.
He's got a very get off my lawn look.
I love this gag so much.
It's a funny little gag, but like at the same time, it's not necessary at all.
Look at that alien for the carpet rug. I never noticed that before.
All right, I think they call her the Blue Diva.
I love her. Her character is so interesting to me.
This is the woman that's actually married to Luke Besson at the time.
Now I feel bad for her.
By the way, what's the time on your guys' video?
I am
Maybe
at
a little
1
behind.
hour, 24 minutes, 30 seconds.
Yeah, I'm at 24:32.
Huh.
Are
Why?
you?
Do you think you're missing
I
something?
don't know why, but I feel like I'm a tiny bit delayed than you guys are because you guys would get a joke ahead of me than I would.
That's because we've seen this a million times. We're probably bringing it up before it actually happens.
Yeah, I think that's probably what's happening.
Yeah, it's happened a couple times where I'm like, watch this. There it is. You know, like, yeah.
So my question is, how are they ever going to get her the stones other than how they actually do it later?
There's a lot of theories that could present, Durbin, that question. Chandler, if you don't remember, which you probably don't, the stones are inside of the Blue Diva. And yeah, I don't know how they plan to actually get those out. God, look at that chick's hair. Oh my gosh.
She could poke an eye out. Did you see Bruce Willis pull away from him?
Who cares? I would love to have a Ruby Rod just like narrate my like life currently. Like I'm just walking around everywhere and he's just saying everything that I'm seeing.
Oh, Ruby Rod. Ruby Rod.
I love his hairstyle in this scene.
I love how he's trying to reel in his frustration.
Oh, we know who that guy is.
You say champagne instead of champagne?
Yeah, I think so. Was he still on the air when he yelled for commercial twice?
Those guys are a little trigger happy, I believe. All right, so here comes such a beautiful like sequence that happens here. This song is just amazing, and the way it's presented.
And it's the editing style I keep talking about, how they're telling multiple stories.
Yes.
And cutting it together in such a unique way. This is like truly my favorite scene.
Yeah, and this so this, as I said, it was Luke Besson's wife at the time. She wasn't supposed to play this role. The person who was supposed to play this role dropped out last minute.
Wow. Wow.
So everyone watching this, like in the audience, this is their first time actually seeing her do this. So everyone's actually watching in real time, being captivated by the performance. And, you know, Luke Besson,
really cool.
Luke Besson caught that on camera.
That's really cool. Neither me nor my wife can sing like this.
She didn't sing. She didn't sing. She only just, you know, lip sync it, but I always want to take a pen and pop her head.
I do too. I hate that I can see like the plastic wrinkles in the back, but then it kind of just feeds into the atmosphere of the movie.
Right. Well, there's some movies that just don't translate very well into HD. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or certain like aspects you can get away with in the 90s that you can't get away with now, but now that they're all coming out in HD and 4K, it's like, oh, I can kind of see where the hairline, where your hair piece is formed into your forehead.
Gosh, I love this movie. I love Gary Oldman.
Yeah, this is where they start doing the multiple storytelling. Like it's starting to come in slowly, and then when they change the beat of the song, it totally turns into an action sequence. This guy
That's what's
weirds
so
me out.
great about it. Yeah, yeah. I almost feel like she's psychic. And right now, like, that's what she's seeing is the blood on her hands of the people she works with.
Yeah, no, she's telling this. She's singing the story of what's happening right now. Exactly. I've always thought that.
You remember this scene at all, Chandler?
Not really. No. I kind of remember the blue woman on stage singing a little bit, but I don't remember how it was played out.
You're gonna love it.
Yeah, I'm getting chills like just in that spot right here.
Oh,
yeah, here we
come
go.
on, Lilu.
Yeah, this is where the whole score changes. I love it.
Ooh.
Because she watched some Jackie Chan movies. Now she's got it.
I don't know. Did Jackie Chan ever kick him in the balls?
Scene. That's a 90s thing.
So this is really the only scene we actually see her live up to that protector.
Yep.
Everybody will always remember that dance she does right there. Always.
Yep.
The little two finger.
Yep.
I love how they
weird how this works. It's
Isn't
so
it?
weird how the operatic scene just goes like into incredible, deep, like you're seeing something meaningful, and then you're seeing hip hop music, and then it works within the beat.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what I love about this movie is it keeps editing things this way. And this scene in particular is like the best. It's the best way it's put together. I love it.
And now she has the stones.
Well, that's what they want us to think, yeah.
Oh yeah. Duh. Yeah, duh. You know, I'm starting to like. I've always known how they tell the multiple stories at once, but now I'm noticing it even more. Like, like even with that dialogue, "Bravo, bravo," and then he walks in, "Bravo, bravo."
Yep. It's so clever.
I wonder if Luke Besson's other movies are like this. He did that movie Lucy.
Yeah, I didn't like Lucy.
I've never seen Lucy.
It's not good. Don't see it.
Hold on. I've seen it once, and I thought it was pretty good.
I liked Limitless way better than Lucy.
I've never seen Limitless, so. Why did they make him put his hands up? He's already in cuffs. All right, so
I love how they're crying out for Ruby. It's just so great.
Yeah, this is when we see Ruby Rod actually become an unexpected person of the team.
Yep. But
This
I also
may
love
be a
this
little-
because this
this
is
may
her
be a
coming
little
face to
nitpicky.
face with evil, like for the first time, and like it's shooting at her.
What were you saying, Chandler?
It might be a little nitpicky for me. I mean, I understand, but even though she's the fifth element, she could contain like all of his knowledge. A ton of bullets that's being attacked at her, even though she can have like a lot of karate fight moves. Would bullets really be the only solution to actually killing her off? Still?
I think at this stage in her evolution, that's what it seems to be. Yeah, because she hasn't actually connected with the stones yet, which creates what, Durbin? When you get all four stones plus the fifth element, together, doesn't that like evolve her into like the supreme being, like the best
It
version?
takes like what's truly there, but she
Yeah.
has to learn what's truly there, and that's kind of her journey right now. She just came face to face with evil, so now part of her journey is learning what war is and being disheartened with, if I save life, this is what you do with it. So,
Yeah.
so she's got to realize what's in there and what love really is in order for the stones to make her complete.
Yeah, like we're watching her evolution pretty much like when we first get introduced to her, like almost as her birth, and then she just fast forwards into infancy, and like we're just watching
Yeah.
her evolution
So, like-
play out in a matter of 24 hours.
Right here, it's not the violence or the bullets that broke her. Like, she's not crying from a bullet. I mean, I think for her, it's almost like she's crying from this broken heart. Like, she just saw
she's
evil
vulnerable.
and it attacked her.
And she's vulnerable. She
Yeah.
knows she's vulnerable. She didn't think she was vulnerable before. I protect
Yep.
you.
She's the supreme being. So this is her first taste of vulnerability.
Yeah.
But also disillusionment. This is what you do with life.
I love this. I love this right here with Gary Oldman. They're not here. Like he did the true like tragedy comedy mask, like right there in that one shot.
Is that how she was able to telepathically understand everything that's going on in the situation? Like the blue lady, that's what I'm talking about. The one who's just
the Blue
passed
Diva.
away.
She. From what I can gather, because the movie tells us very little about her, except that she is some kind of, I don't know, like all-knowing being. Like
Yeah.
she,
Or at least
she-
maybe a fourth dimensional being. Something where she's able to see more than what we see. Like she
Right.
knew what was going on and was acting it out on stage.
Yeah, and she knew, she probably knew she was going to die here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How did they get those stones inside of her, though?
Surgery.
You know what? Some things are just better left unknown. Let's leave it at that.
Maybe she's like a snake and her jaw unhinges and, takes it like a pill, swallows it whole.
Swallow
No.
something that big? I don't think so.
That's what she said.
I love that he just shot that alien in the head. He's like, do you think he's going to be okay?
That's like the Boondock Saints when he shoots the cat. Have you seen that, Derman?
No, I have. Well,
Okay.
I've seen parts of that movie. I haven't seen the whole thing.
Coming, another one coming.
Chandler, dude, you did such a good Tucker job that I thought my volume went up on my TV. Like I was like, what's up with my volume? Then I realized that was you doing a Chris Tucker impersonation.
I like doing impressions in my off time.
That's great. You nailed that one, man.
Nice.
So this action scene, well, I'm a little preemptive on it, but by the end of this scene, the whole scene is like engulfed in flames, because everything just blew up. And it still to this day is the biggest inside explosion, like actual not CGI explosion that there's ever been.
Wow.
And there's a reason for that, because the entire set actually caught on fire and they haven't been allowed to do that big of explosions inside a studio
Wow.
since.
I didn't know that. That's really cool.
This movie does have like a very gender fluid, like essence about it. Now that Chandler like pointed that out to me, not that specifically, but just like being okay with yourself, I'm noticing a lot more.
That's what I was saying. Like, this movie feels like it's ahead of its time.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at that.
I love it so much.
Oh, I forgot. Ruby Rod's still like live on air. So like,
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, that's why I was laughing so hard, because he was like, oh my god, ladies and gentlemen, this is amazing.
That really is like the best impression I've ever heard.
I love this. I love this interaction with him and Tucker, man.
Bruce Willis weighs a lot.
Right?
Sorry.
man. So Chandler, so far, what do you think of this movie? What?
Okay, let me just say this. Some of the story was a little hard to follow. I'm not gonna lie. But when it came to the last act, I was hearing like the Blue Diva sing, and then you get to understand that she has like all the stones inside of her, and you're able to connect everything everything that was going everything that was going on. It started to make sense now, and I'm like, okay, now I'm on track with what's going on with the story and what's happening here and everybody's motivation.
Well, this is also a very difficult like rewatch for you. Like, it's difficult to like listen to our commentary while trying to follow this story. Like, I would be interested in seeing your like your take on this movie, like watching it without us.
Oh my gosh! He's still screaming.
See, that's the fire that that put a stop to that kind of internal explosion.
They did it again.
The studio was on fire?
No, yeah, the whole studio.
So Chris Tucker was counting up to 10, stopped at 9. Bruce Willis finished it and said 10. Cuts to the bomb with 10 minutes left before it blows. I love it.
Huh.
All right, who's this guy? What other movie is this? Is this little?
I don't know. He plays a very similar character in everything that I've seen him in.
He was in Something About Mary. He played the guy who was on the crutches, but he was faking.
Yes. I think you're right about that.
I know I'm right about that.
I don't know if it's the face, but that guy, it's probably not it, but he reminds me of William Stryker from the X-Men films. I don't know why. It's just the face. But it's probably not the dude.
I can see that. I can see that.
Oh, like the younger Stryker?
No, the older one from X-Men. Wait, oh, you mean the younger one? Okay.
The younger one from the Days of Future Past Apocalypse.
Wasn't that Sean Austin Scott's brother? Is that his name? Sean Austin Scott was in Dude, Where's My Car?
Oh.
With Ashton Kutcher.
Oh.
I don't
know if it was.
I think the guy that played Stryker, the younger version of him, was that dude's brother.
I did not know that.
I love this part. What's wrong with you? Hurt.
Tucker is just killing it in this movie.
He is, dude. That's what I was saying earlier. He needs to do more movies like this.
Yes, he does.
He's so comfortable in this.
Although would this movie be able to get away with it to this very day? Because even though I said this feels like it's ahead of its time, we're laughing at scenes like this, but some people would probably say this might be a little offensive.
I wouldn't take it that way. Again, I don't know how much of a foot I have in that race, but this is, to me, the thing that makes his character great, because his sexuality or anything like that is not really questioned or brought up or anything like that. You just take him for who he is.
True.
You know, like it's never put in a, you know, oh, you know, here's our gender fluid radio host, you know, Ruby Rod. No, it's never really announced. It's not even a topic of discussion. He's just him being him, just like that football player who was wearing the lacy thing and the blonde curly hair. You know, like that. You don't. Those questions aren't there. You just accept it for what it is. So I can maybe see somebody trying to turn it that way.
Yeah.
But I don't think it would hold any validity.
For any newbies watching, we're 1 hour, 45 minutes, and 36 seconds in.
Yes, this is when Ruby Rod becomes a part of the team. I would love to see a sequel.
And
I would love to see a sequel
I would too.
with this entire cast. Although we may have missed a train on that.
I think we might have. I think now it's just the cult classic, but I would see a sequel to this.
Well, and Gary Oldman wouldn't be in it because.
No, it sounds like he would really not want to.
Well, no, I mean
No.
he dies in this.
Well,
movie,
yes,
so.
he does die, but I mean, if they cloned him,
Oh, yeah.
he still wouldn't want to be in this.
Hold on, I think this is it, right here. That's
Yeah,
the
there it
only,
is.
That's the only shot those that Zorg and Corbin Dallas are in together. That's it.
So our hero and villain never meet.
Or talk about each other. They don't. I mean, I think maybe they say their name like once every now and again, but like they just have no interaction whatsoever.
It probably would be. It seems like all cars are spaceships in this time. Dude, I'd be going so much faster.
This is so suspenseful.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, drop it in! Okay, we're good now. We're all right. Nothing could go wrong now, right?
Yeah, the editing is really good because the exact impact when the explosion arrives is the exact same timing when Chris Tucker just goes like this and screeches at the back. Because it's both funny but also intense and impactful at the exact same time.
And that's the thing that keeps reverbing throughout this entire movie. Like they whenever there's a dramatic situation, they add a little bit of comedy to it. They add a little bit of action to it. Like that's why this movie works so well for me.
Oh, it does.
They have the stones. They have Lilo.
Should all work, right?
Well,
except for her existential crisis.
I do have a question here. So, like, how does the priest not know how to work the stones?
Man, this priest sucks.
You know how, like...
You know what I mean? Like, isn't this like his one job? And like he devoted his whole life to saving humanity, and then when they get the stones to where they need to be, they don't know how to make them turn on. And he's like, I don't know.
You know how you're talking to somebody who's 97 and you're telling them how to create a Facebook account, and they're going, "Where's the power button to the computer?" So here you are. You think it's kind of obvious, but you forget they're 97 years old. And I feel like maybe that's kind of the thing here. Like maybe all the priests before thought, "Oh, that's obvious. You put water on water, air on air." But why would they know that? Like, why would you ever make that connection?
Because it's their job to pass down that information.
Yeah.
That's the whole purpose.
You probably think that they can write down notes or something for them to remember.
Yeah.
You would think there'd be a sacred text that has been written by prophets, priests, and kings, and it's been around for thousands of years. A book of some sort that a priest could open and find the answers to their deep questions, you know? Basic instructions.
I don't understand what you're talking about, Durbin. That makes no sense.
It's the Book of Mormon.
It's the Book of Ruby Rod.
Everybody listen! Look at the page, chapter 9, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Thank you!
Give me a green. Green. Oh, cool. All right.
Wait, they weren't already in warp? I never noticed that. I thought they were already in warp.
They didn't have time constraint then. Oh yeah, this is when she.
Well, this is
curious about war.
What's the point of love? What's the point of life? If I save life, this is what you're going to do with it.
Yeah.
But she's, typing it because she's curious now because she just sort of experienced war.
That definitely is a terrible thing that exists.
I love her face here, though. Like,
Yeah.
The existential crisis she was already having, you just kind of see whatever was left of her heart breaking right there.
I love movies that just do stuff like this. You don't need any dialogue. You don't need any exposition. You see a visual medium right then and there. You understand every single type of feeling that she has on screen.
It's the don't tell, show. And that's exactly what they did. They didn't tell. They showed us.
I really want one of those glow sticks, even though they kind of resemble lightsabers now that I think about it.
The more Star Wars love put in there. See, his logic of how this should work makes sense to me. But I get what you're saying, Steve. They should have left very detailed instructions on what you're supposed to do with this.
I feel like he devoted his whole life just to know what stones are and where to take them and nothing else.
Yes.
Look at him. He looks lost.
Yeah, he does. And it's the military guy that is figuring out what the religious guy should already know from what's been passed down to him for thousands of years.
I feel like it's just a moment of anxiety. Like, we've never had this happen before. So now that he's the person that actually is doing it, he's like, I don't know.
Yep.
I guess, in a sense, Durbin, to kind of travel into your world a little bit, it would be the way that people would, like, how the prophets would actually take Jesus when they find out Jesus is the Messiah. Would that be a good comparison?
I guess so. He is. What do we do with him now?
Right. Like, oh my God, this is for real. I don't quite know how to act.
Yep. Yeah, I could definitely see that. What happens when you've believed it all your life, but now the reality of it is setting in.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. When I was younger, I really wanted to do this this outfit that Bruce Willis is wearing with the sleeveless and then like that weird just like
Yep.
white whatever has on his arm. I love that stuff. It's a
Pretty
super
cool.
90s. It's a super 90s grunge thing. I don't know if we could do a live watch party watching Rush Hour. I think Chandler would just be cracking up the whole time.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't want to do that with me. I would.
That makes me want to do it with you all the more, Chandler.
Right?
All
Yeah.
the more.
Yeah, I think I think Tuesdays are the days I want to do these now.
What day of the week is it? It is Tuesday. Okay, that worked out nice.
Durbin, that's yeah.
To be honest, would you imagine if like everybody that you were planning to have on here would be in here? It would be a little confusing for me if I also joined and was like never noticed what this movie was. I would have been like, what the heck is going on here?
Yeah, you definitely would be. Because
Yeah.
the others who are joining it are all seen it, and so yeah.
Well, yeah, I think the entire integrity of this live watch party changed because you were here. You know, before it was going to be a whole bunch of people that have seen this movie discussing their thoughts and feelings and theories. Now it's more of a let's see what the new guy to this movie thinks.
Yep.
And you got us old veterans over here going, huh? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let us know. Corbin, I ain't got no fire, Corbin. We're not gonna survive.
Just imagine Chris Tucker doing the opening of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh.
Earth, wind, fire, all this stuff. Do you know that stuff? This is a thing.
We're gonna die. I love that.
Okay, out of everything that we've seen, this is the most intense moment of this entire movie.
The one match. Don't breathe. Don't do that. Drop it. Just drop it. Just put it down. Just put it down. Just put it down.
Now I
See,
can breathe.
he swiped it across. I would have laid it on the top and just let it sit there. No risks here.
I literally held my breath that entire time.
Yeah, I was doing that too. I don't think I would have made it, in all honesty, because I wouldn't have been able to breathe.
I would have sneezed. That would have been me. What's the use of saving life when I see what you do with it?
You can imagine my theological analysis, how heavy I got with this, can't you?
Okay, yeah, I was completely off base. I said that she fell in love first. No, that's not what happened at all. I don't know. I guess when I think back about to this scene, I always thought like her saying "I don't know love" was like her asking him, "Show me love." Like because everyone is powwowing, going, do it, tell her. I always just considered that like him joining the train. Okay, I do love you, and like accepting it. But like, which is what he's doing. I think that's why I always remembered this scene as him falling in love with her, already being in love. But yeah.
Well, he's got to be vulnerable. So you had to put water on water to make water work. And so she is love, but how do you have love without love in return? And that's the whole point. He has to love her too.
Oh. So on top
And
of
there's
the
the message. Love
yeah,
conquers all.
yeah. And on top of that, not only did we get the gauntlet, but I think we just got the Infinity Stones, by the way.
But you see, then that brings us down to the whole message of this movie, right? So there they are at the beginning shooting bombs at evil. All that does is it grows and it gets darker and it gets more powerful. The only way to defeat dark is with light. And so love defeats evil. And that was just, to me, like this incredible message at the end. You fight the dark with the light.
Yeah, and that's exactly what the message is. That's so that line from Chris Tucker that he just did was what I originally wanted to put on my promotion. You know how I put a clip of an audio clip at the beginning of my video? That was the one I wanted, but I ended up going with the Lilo Dallas multipass thing.
That's also a classic.
Yeah, I figured it was more recognizable. I forgot about this part.
He's a little too excited.
And the bit has a conclusion.
Yes, it does.
Did she just insult or compliment the president?
She insulted him. She said, she complimented Corbin by saying, "You don't sound like an idiot." But, yeah.
That mother's so interesting. You gotta think of like what's going through her head.
I love how this movie ends. Like that. Just boom, done. I love the music that's playing. It's got a it's got that
90s.
It's got that 90s feel, but it has that like old world like instruments going in the background of it. I love it.
Amazon is telling me next up is Irobot. It's recommending I watch Irobot to follow this movie.
Oh, okay. All right, so there it is, Mr. Chandler. I'm curious from beginning to end. I know it's a little rough the way we did this with you. Is this a movie that you would actually want to sit down and watch solo and absorb everything in, or are you just kind of like, I'm done with it. I got it.
I would have to watch it again in solo, to be honest, because it's like there's just so much chaos that happens at the end, and now that I understand what the story is as a complete, like, the story overall, when I watch the ending, then I would have to go back and see everything that's at the beginning in order for me to get, like, my full consecutive thoughts. But either way, I still had a great time enjoying this movie just for what it was. But in order to, like, fully appreciate the story for what it is and understanding more of, like, the metaphors and symbolisms that's all around in the movie and the sci-fi technology that's in there. I mean, the sci-fi alone, even without, like, not really understanding the story, I can still appreciate it for what it is. But in order to be, like, really engaged in it, to really feel connected with the story, I would have to rewatch it, in all honesty. But, yeah, I still had a lot of fun watching it.
Yeah, I would love to hear your, like, your thoughts on this movie.
Or your
like,
hot take on it.
Yeah, your hot take on it. I just like after watching it again and actually just being immersed into the story, I'm very curious of what you would have to say. Durbin, I know you're like me. You just love this movie for what it is, and this movie when it first came out, I don't know, like I don't know if it was a cult classic, or I don't remember how well it did in theaters.
I don't either.
I've always loved this movie from the beginning, from the first time I watched it. It's a staple in my life, and my son still My son still doesn't get into it.
No.
He
No.
says he does. He's
No.
he's like, well, Dad, no, I'm beginning to like it, but I also like feel like that he's also doing the same thing when he lets me win at Mortal Kombat. You know, like he's just letting me do my thing. And okay,
Oh,
Dad.
Steph, you need to just appreciate this movie. It is strange and kind of bad, but that's what makes it great and awesome.
What do you mean kind of bad? What's
I don't
bad
know.
about
It's
it?
because it's so quirky and so weird. So like when people say they don't like it, it's like, all right, I get it. I get why you don't like it. But those very things that some people would say make it bad, some of that quirkiness, some of that weirdness, some of the kind of cartoonish way the characters are portrayed, those are the very things that to me just add so many great things to it. Like I love it. I love the characters. I love how they're portrayed. I said it over and over again as we're watching it. I love the editing, just the way they would montage some of those big events together. And it just flowed so perfectly, especially the opera scene. I just love how the music changes and the action changes as the Blue Diva is feeling everything that Lilu is going through. Like, it's just the whole thing. It's so good. And the message. Yeah.
And I think it just depends on whether or not you're a fan of Chris Tucker or not. And even though it is ironic because he does steal the show entirely, and there are like other things to appreciate other than Chris Tucker. Chris Tucker is literally the definition of what this movie is. It's weird and crazy and insane, but you love it for what it is. And if you don't like that type of humor that Chris Tucker has, you're not really going to enjoy it, in all honesty.
That makes
That's the
a
way
lot
that
of
I see
sense.
it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I wonder how Prince would have done in this role. If
I don't
it would have
know.
been just as likable. He probably
I don't
wouldn't have.
know.
Yeah, he would. I don't. It wouldn't have been as funny. I wouldn't think. I think there would have been a completely different element. But you know, we needed Chris Tucker because there's enough comedy in this movie. You know, like to be the comedic relief has to also be extra. You know, and that's what Chris Tucker provided. So I agree.
Yeah.
Without Chris Tucker, he's like the unsung hero of this film. He really is.
He does. He brings it to life. Like the movie already has a life of its own and a character of its own. But it's like Chandler says. It's like what Chandler says. You don't even realize it until you're watching the movie. Like the movie is weird, and his humor in this movie embodies like the spirit of the movie. And so when he pops up and he just adds his character and adds his flavor to it, it's like, yep. I didn't know I was missing that ingredient, but now I know this movie wouldn't be possible without that ingredient. It's awesome.
I think that if they did have Prince, they probably would have wanted him to do some kind of musical number with the Blue Diva, and I don't think that would have worked because the Blue Diva herself is like its own entity. But since they would recognize that Prince is a singer, they probably said like, oh, let's just probably add in some kind of musical, which I don't think would have matched the type of flavor that this movie is gathering up.
I can see why you would think that. I'm not sure if they would or not. It seems that Luke Besson had a pretty well.
Like I feel like they
would
would have taken advantage of it, but they probably won't do that though.
Yeah.
Or maybe it would have been in Prince's contract. Well, I'll do the role if I get a musical number.
I mean, I do know that the director was writing this movie when he was a teenager. So this had been one of those movies that was like a passion project for him. Like he'd had it in his mind for a long time.
Yeah.
Although they could have done it like what Michael Jackson did in Moonwalker, have the movie be boring, but have this one sequence where it's like a Smooth Criminal music video and have that be like a memorable thing that everybody remembers in the 90s. But that would be like Prince's movie, except this movie is like a little more weird, I guess.
Oh, man,
I just can't picture Prince, but that's because I can't picture anybody other than Chris Tucker. Like, it just, he stole it.
Yeah,
he was amazing.
I forgot about that Michael Jackson video. Is that
I never saw it.
where he had those like claymation, like clay animation, like fat guys on their motorcycles chasing him down in the alley? Holy crap!
Yeah, it's a weird movie.
I never saw that. Wow,
it's so 80s. I'll find it and put a link in our group discussion. But like, yeah, it's so 80s. It's ridiculous.
It's weird. But I love the music, that music video of Smooth Criminal.
Oh
It's a
yeah,
fantastic
of course.
video.
I mean, I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan, so like his music is great. The video is. I think like when I was a kid, my brothers and I used to watch that all the time. Like that was our thing. But I was
Yeah,
also a
that was
young
the same with me
adult.
and my cousin. We used to
Yeah.
watch like a lot of music videos, like Michael Jackson or actually we used to watch like Avatar: The Last Airbender as well. That's how we got. That's how I was introduced to that show because of my cousin.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. We're going
rabbit
down.
trailing.
We're
Yeah.
rabbit trailing. So that's the movie. I appreciate you guys joining me in for this live watch party. Chandler, I especially appreciate you coming in very last minute after 3 guys dropped out last minute for no other reason than personal life, things that pop up. But so thank you again for joining us. If you could tell everybody where to find you again, like introduce yourself, where's your channel, where can they find your content and what have you.
I'm on YouTube.com. It's Hot Takes for Nerds, not FOR Nerds. It's for the number 4 Nerds. If you search that up on YouTube, you'll be able to find my YouTube channel. You'll also be able to find me on Instagram. I'm mostly active on that. I don't have a Facebook or Twitter because I barely use them for my social media platforms, honestly.
Durbin?
I am Durbin. I have my channel Durbania, so right here on YouTube, I review movies, I rank movies, I do this thing called a theological analysis, and just to give a little plug here, I have a theological analysis for The Fifth Element, so you could definitely check that out and kind of get my theological take on some of the symbolism and metaphors in the movie. It was a lot of fun digging into it, because this movie's a classic, and it's just one of those movies that I love, and so definitely you could check that out, so come on over to my channel. Would love to have you.
Perfect. And I will have a link to both of these guys' channel in the description below. Chandler, you're the only one that's not down there right now. I will add yours. Durbin is down there currently. So if you haven't already, please go click on the links and become a subscriber to their channels. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay trigger happy, my friends. Peace.